All right, Hollywood wants to ban critical drinker, and YouTube critics by Jesse Grant.
So I wasn't going to talk about any YouTube movie critics for a while, as I
Mhm.
had just wrapped up my 3-part series on the critical drinker last week. However, recent articles have forced me into speaking out, because while this won't be my most well-edited or longest video that I've made,
Oh,
it's
that's fine.
definitely going to be one of my most important, because I really feel passionate about this topic. Because sadly, I'm starting to notice a massive shift in the Hollywood blame game that I think is utterly ridiculous.
Oh,
Because
what that?
Hollywood has seemingly gone from blaming toxic fans for failures to now targeting online movie critics.
Yeah, that's like the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. Um, like I haven't really gone to the movies in like a really long time. Like since the whole COVID thing. Um, yeah, I just haven't really been to the movies anymore. Um, I just haven't really seen anything that I'm like super like excited about. Like even though for my job, like I can essentially see movies for free. Um, it's just like a little plus thing, but like I still don't even just want to like go to dedicate like 2 or 3 hours to go see a movie that could or could not be like good or bad. I mean, I essentially I could go and only see the ones that I'd be like relatively like okay with seeing. Like I don't have to see a movie on what do you call it, like the day of like its opening day. I could just wait like a week or two, wait for the reviews to come out and figure out whether or not it's like worth my time to see it or whatever. But I don't know. I'm just like back. It wasn't always the case because back in the day, I would love to go to the movies with like me and my friends. Um, but yeah, I mean, going to the movies was like a whole experience. You go to the movies for the experience of sitting in like hopefully like the stadium seating, the big ass screen. Hopefully you get a good seat so that way all the sound can hit you like in a good way. Because like a really good movie that I saw was what do you call it? I saw Mad Max Fury Road in theaters, and oh my god, I am so happy I got to see that in theaters. That shit was so much better with like the sound quality. You have all the speakers hitting you for like all the epic like sounds and music. Oh, it was awesome. But I don't know. I've just not been like I don't know really enticed over the last like I honestly don't remember the last time I went inside a theater. I'd have to think really hard. It has to have been like I don't know, maybe 2 to 4 years since I've been inside a movie theater.
Because as you all know, just a month ago, I covered how somehow critics like the Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic were being
Mm,
blamed for Madam Webb's failure.
no, I mean that might be the case, but that's not actually why Madam Web was a failure. I didn't even know Madam Web was a thing that was coming out. I didn't know who the fuck Madam Web was. I didn't know it was part of the Spider-Man universe. Uh, I knew about Spider-Man, and I slightly knew about Spider-Woman, or was it Spider-Girl? One of the two. Um, and then whatever I saw in what's that? The stop motion, not the stop motion, but like the animated Spider-Man, Spider-Man Into the Multiverse. I saw like all the characters in that, but like outside of that, I didn't know much about Spider-Man. And to try to introduce like some like secondary or maybe tertiary character as a main character, I don't know. I'm just like not interested. I'm just like, okay, pass. I don't even know if the story was good or bad. I'm just like, who the fuck is this? I don't care. Maybe this isn't for me.
And now we're getting more articles come from the entertainment industry that are choosing to attack content creators.
So what about the movies that do good and get good critical reviews? Are the critics the reason why the movie did good and it was not the movie having like a good story itself? No, that's not the case. If a movie does good, it's because it has a good story and good characters. If a movie does bad, it's the movie's fault, not the critics.
Creators, from articles of actors blaming online criticism for their career downfall.
Anne Hathaway says toxic online hatred cost her acting roles. What? I had no idea this was a thing.
And while I don't know what this specific article is about, and I am a fan of Anne Hathaway, I'm just using this as an example, and we're also getting other articles targeting the so-called
The Little Mermaid's review bombing is just a sign of what's to come. I mean, bro, like a review bomb is most likely like a handful of people going out to all these different websites and making all these accounts and just review bombing like XYZ movie or game. It's like a very small amount of people that are doing this. But conversely, if you don't know that something is getting review bombed, then it's very easy to misconstrue like critical like reviews to figure out, oh, is this movie worth a damn to go see and whatnot? Because like if you don't know what to like look for, then I can understand that it's confusing.
Review bombing of movies to now gaming companies threatening legal action against content creators for reporting a negative story about the company that apparently is true, and they're quoting real sources and real articles that have.
I generally live my life via pattern recognition. You find out very few tactics are actually that common. Escalation is always interesting. I'd assume a place called Black Girl Gamers was filled with black girl gamers. If it wasn't, I'd ask why. What the fuck? Upon discovering these false and defamatory allegations, we have taken steps to obtain legal counsel to take action against the publication and journalists, as well as subsequent content creators who blah, blah, blah. Bro, what the fuck is this? This is hilarious. How many tweets does this thing have? How many likes? How many comments? How many retweets? Bro, this shit is probably like barely in the double digits.
Come out about this company, yet they're still threatening to sue these very content creators. And
that's a fucking joke. To think that they can actually follow through with any of their like lawsuits is such a joke.
Just because that is a legal situation, I think I should add that I don't know all the details. I'm just saying it's reportedly true, but what is definitely true is that they're coming out and saying that they will threaten to sue content creators for making a video and reporting on articles that have come out about that company.
Jeez.
Come on, pug. Touch me and I'll sue.
You can't talk bad about us because we'll sue you if you talk bad about us. Oh, boo-hoo.
Sue me for what?
And I'd say that this shift is happening in the overall entertainment industry because Hollywood now understands that attacking the very people that you want to watch your movies is an utterly dumb idea and is only going to aggravate the audience and result in you losing more money. Yet they still, for some reason, don't want to take any sort of accountability.
I stopped paying attention to movies when I first heard about like these random ass articles. Like, I don't know, maybe this was like 5 years ago or something like that. Like, before I got like the whole what do you call it? Superhero burnout bullshit. Yeah, I would randomly hear like things like pop up in my YouTube or my fucking social media bullshit, or I would randomly find an article where like the creators of XYZ show or movie or thing would go out and say these crazy things about the people that consume their content, in thinking that, oh, this is okay to attack our audience. I'm just like, okay, you could do that, but I don't have to buy your shit. Bye. That's literally what I do.
and are looking for more people to shift the blame towards, and now they've settled on the idea of attacking online movie criticism coming from people like The Critical Drinker, like Nerdrotic, like Jeremy Jahns. They're choosing to attack these people because they view this as an easier scapegoat and an easier way to blame their failures on someone else without aggravating.
Bro, what if who was like that good ass movie review guy, like the duo of was it like Roger Ebert and Roper or something, or was it those two guys, like back in the day, those were like the movie critics. Like, what if they had like a social media today? Like, what if they had a YouTube and they were just doing their normal thing? Do you think they would be like falling in line, like be in the same group as a Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic, and Jeremy Jahns? Or would they be their own thing? Like, you know, like what if like, because from my understanding, those are like some well-respected movie critics. Essentially, if you want to be like a well-respected like movie critic, you got to do it like a long time and have like reasonable justifications for your criticisms and whatnot. But back in the day, Roger, like Ebert and Roper were like the critics that I used to follow. Yeah, I mean, I'd just be curious to see what their opinions would be, like, because to my knowledge, I think they passed away. I'd be curious to see like what those guys' opinions would be on this entire situation.
The audience that they're choosing to make these movies for. However, why this is still a very dumb idea is because you're now attacking people that the fans of your movies listen to, respect, and watch on a daily basis, so you're also going to aggravate the very people that you're trying not to aggravate now, so you're probably going to lose more money through this new strategy than you were before. So once again, they've settled on a downright stupid idea. And now, this shift has been gradual, as The Critical Drinker started being blamed just over 2 years ago, where I think there was a Forbes article that highlighted one of his videos, saying that somehow damaged the reputation of Rings of Power, and
No, a single reviewer cannot have as much impact on an audience as you fucking think, dude. That is like these companies like false ideas. These ideas, this is like their headcanon that they think like, oh, this one guy with like what is it, like 1 million or 2 million viewers, that's their entire audience base right there in that guy's sub count. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. To think that one person can have that much sway, because we don't know the actual numbers of like what a movie sees or how many people actually see a movie. All we can usually just go off of is what do you call it? The like the box office numbers, how many like the total amount, pretty much. I mean, we could get like if we were to actually have like, if we were to be able to see the actual number of people that saw like a movie or a show series from beginning to end, I think it would be way more revealing on how justified their little assumptions were to say that, oh, this critic is bad. He made our movie not popular with his one opinion alone. Like, that's such a joke, man. Get the hell out of here.
Was part of the reason that series failed, when, as we all know, Rings of Power just wasn't on the same level as the original Lord of the Rings movies. Overall, people didn't like it, and he wasn't the only critic that voiced complaints around that show, as pretty much most critics out there said that this show wasn't great, yet they chose to target him because it seemed like an easier scapegoat.
So
that all started to happen just over 2 years ago. However, now it's really ramping up, and that's why I feel that
I mean, but to be fair, like, come on, trying to make any movie as good as The Lord of the Rings, that's a high bar to like step up to. Like, let's be real. Come on now.
I have to say something as both a movie fan and an online movie critic myself. Because like I've already said, attacking YouTube movie critics is an easy scapegoat. However, the reality is that if people didn't agree with these online critics, they wouldn't have the following that they have, and therefore they wouldn't be important enough to try and blame them for your failures.
Yeah.
So clearly YouTube critics are saying something right and are clearly resonating with fans, and fans are agreeing with people like The Critical Drinker and Jeremy Jahns because they're saying things that ring true, and they're speaking from the opinion of the audiences of these movies and shows. So these critics should be seen as a streamlined view of what fans are thinking, and studios should really listen to these critics and try and take on some of their opinions. And while I'm not saying
they should probably take on some of their opinions, but that ain't gonna happen. Like, aren't a lot of these movies like essentially just like one big checklist? Like you may like, you know, you come out with the script and whatnot, and then the script goes through X amount of like rewrites or whatever. And isn't there like some company or some shit that has to like do all the they have to go through it with like the lens of the DEI shit? It's like you have to have this, you have to have that, you gotta have this for whatever reason, and a lot of the times it's shoehorned in there, it's contrived in there, and it's just not a good storytelling experience, really. I mean, I honestly, all I do is like really look at reviews, and it's just like, yes, there have probably been like some movies that are like original stories that are probably good, but you know, as far as like at least like your big ticket IPs, you know, like all your Marvel things or maybe your DC movies, I don't know. I'd have to like really figure out something. It seems like video games are almost in the same line, or then like the same vein of thinking as like big name movies. Like the thing with video games is that AAA video games are not really like coming out in like a finished state, and they're, you know, there's a bunch of things wrong with them, this, that, whatever. But you know, these big AAA game companies spend like $200-300 million on their game, and you know, sometimes it'll be just like it'll have like a shitload of bugs, or the story's bad, or there's too much like contrived DEI shit in there, and nobody really likes it. But that's not to say that the entirety of like the video game industry is just bad, because there's a lot of great games coming out in like the single A or the double A franchise like quadrant of the gaming industry. I would probably say it's pretty much the same thing with movies. If you're looking for Disney or anything like super popular to like constantly come out with like bangers, then you need to like look for like a different company. But I don't know, I'm more familiar with I don't know, like video game companies than I am like movie. I don't know, like I don't even know like what to call it really. I would say company, but you know, multiple people and actors can work under like a different company for each different movie. So I'd probably have to go with like each IP, like certain IPs, you know, like Star Wars is pretty much chalked for me. Marvel is pretty much chalked. I can't really look forward to anything that's coming out from them anytime soon, or really Pixar even. That's not to say that good movies or shows can't exist. It's just the chances of them coming out are they're just, it's a very low chance that you're gonna come out with like a good ass movie or show series, because a lot of the times what these movies are doing is they're looking to comic books, they're looking to video games, because they've literally ran out of original stories, and they're looking to other forms of media for inspiration. And it really sucks because a lot of these like adaptations, like video game to movie or video game to like show, a lot of them have been really bad, and that sucks, because there are a lot of these like games that I grew up with and really liked, and to see them get transformed into shows like is really like a cool idea, But when the entire like story writing team comes out and says, "Oh, we haven't looked at any of the source material. We're just gonna make some shit up on the fly." It's like, well, why the fuck did you choose the IP in the beginning? Why didn't you just do your story like on something else? It's because you wanted to take an IP that was already like that had like an established audience, and you wanted to like kind of get like a little cash grab on the IP and feed off of the audience's nostalgia, and it's fucking stupid.
Only listen to these critics and do everything that they say, as of course they need to think for themselves as well. However, you do need to listen to this criticism, especially when it's getting millions of views, because clearly that's what the audience is thinking. And a lot of the time, the criticism around these shows and movies revolves around the storytelling, revolves around the pacing, the beats, tangible filmmaking elements that make for a good series or a good movie. So why not listen to that and try and implement that in your next few films? Because clearly big budget movies as of late haven't been as good as they were just a few years ago, and that's got nothing to do with any sort of toxic fan, and that's got nothing to do with any...
No, it has everything to do with the story itself. People cannot take accountability and just say, hey, it's on us for telling a bad story. Our skill of telling stories was bad. Literally, that's all you need to do. Just apologize. Be like, oh, our storytelling sucks. We'll go back to the chalkboard. We're going to make another banger. All right? That's all it takes. But no, that is literally the furthest thing possible from all of these people's minds.
Sort of hatred or bigotry. It has a lot more to do with the simple fact that the stories aren't as good. So why not listen to the very people that you make these stories for? Because I do think that an underlying reason for why these Hollywood studios dismiss this online criticism so much is because they view these YouTube critics as just idiots in a basement who know nothing about storytelling and are just speaking out of their ass, and they shouldn't pay them any attention. However, to succeed in any endeavor requires you to have some talent and a lot of hard work behind it, and so the reason that The Critical Drinker and Jeremy Jahns have these big followings and have succeeded on YouTube is because they know what they're talking about. They're not just some random idiot saying anything they want. They're good at their job, and that's why people follow them, because they say things that resonate with audiences. And so given the fact that The Critical Drinker can bring in more people per YouTube video than a lot of big budget Marvel productions bring into the cinema, clearly he knows a thing or two about crafting a good narrative, entertaining audiences, and building a good rapport with his fans. So why not learn from that? Why not listen? Clearly he knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't just make YouTube videos. He also writes novels which are top sellers on Amazon, and also is now making a short film, so he knows how to craft a story. He's not just an idiot from a basement. He actually has skin in the game and knows a thing or two about the storytelling industry.
That's pretty cool.
As a movie fan and critic myself, I just want an industry that can work with one another. I just don't see why movie creators...
I mean, at the end of the day, both of the conflicting groups, like the movie makers and the movie critics, and subsequently the audience, everybody wants the same thing. Everybody just wants good movies. That's it. Period. Just make good movies and there will be no issues.
Should hate critics, and why critics should hate movie creators. I honestly feel that we both need each other and should learn from one another, because Hollywood studios should take feedback on board from critics, and all critics should try and do is hold movies accountable and push an industry that we all love to be at the highest standard possible and to continue to grow. And unfortunately, YouTube has become one of the few places...
Wait, Rotten Tomatoes under fire as report claims PR firm manipulated review score. Oh my god. Movie PR company Bunker 15 is accused of pushing for positive reviews from critics to improve a movie's Rotten Tomatoes score. I do know like the two like online sources for like movie reviews and shit. Um, and they're not videos is like Rotten Tomatoes and like Metacritic. I know those are like the main ones that I don't know certain people use, but I have never went to like a Rotten Tomato fucking review or a Metacritic review to figure out if something is good or bad. I've always just like waited a week or two, wait for the shows to come out, wait for the movies to come out, and just watch someone that like I think has a good opinion, and like let me just see like, oh, what did they think? Is it good, bad, is it average? And most of the time, I'll even give like an average thing like a good chance. But if something is just like overwhelmingly like bad or something, I'm just like, okay, I can skip it. I can save myself some time and do something else that I just enjoy.
Where you can find real, honest criticism, as I don't follow critics based on if I agree with every single point they make.
Yeah.
I follow critics based on whether or not I feel they're telling the truth, and whether or not they're just being honest about their opinion. And that's why I watch people from John Campier to The Critical Drinker to Jeremy Jahns to Robert Meyer Burnett. I watch people of all different opinions who sometimes have opinions that clash, but that's a good thing because they're just being honest.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they're just opinions.
And I'd hate to see an industry that I love so much try to eradicate honest feedback and try to eradicate true criticism, because movie criticism has been around since the time that movies began. So I just feel like it's my job to speak out and fight for honest movie criticism when I see the rise of attacking critics online, because it's just so dumb and I just see no merit in that argument. But what are your thoughts on this? Let me know down below in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on my next video.
Nice.
Manifold Garden.
Let me go back.
So I wasn't...
Yeah, this is a good ass video, dude. I liked it. I actually had no idea that like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic were like how would Hollywood ban them on YouTube? Like under what grounds? Kids, what are they just gonna like strike every video that is bad about their specific movie, and like their channel will just get canceled or whatever? Like I don't know like the inner workings of it, but that's just a fucking joke. Like what you showed, dude. Like with Sylvester Stallone just punching the dude. Like what are you gonna sue me for? Yeah, I thought this was a good video. I like it. I'm a fan, and I want to see more. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one, all right? Later.